Hello, 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 and welcome. Let me ask you something. Are you getting all of your questions answered from your doctor's visit? You go to your doctor, you go with your questions, and you come out with all the answers and everything. If not, that is quite all right because this video is for you. So, no worries because today we're going to talk about it. As a primary care physician, that is one of the things that I am hearing a lot about. People are really frustrated. I'm going to the doctor and they're still not answering my questions. But also, as a doctor, I am noticing some things that people are doing, and I'm like, if we continue down this road, you are not going to get your answers and what you need. So then I try to help them. So I'm going to help you today. I'm going to talk to you about some of those things that you're doing that you may not even realize that you're doing, but also some tips on what you can do instead so that you can really get what you need. Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Ashley Booth. I'm a board certified family medicine physician, and I'm the owner of Healing Beyond the Stethoscope Primary Care, where we specialize in holistic and personalized care. And I also provide practical health tips and tools that you can use in your everyday life because what I understand is life ultimately affects your health. Now, go ahead and do the things you want to go ahead and like it, especially if this is a video that makes sense for you and like, yeah, I've been frustrated and I need answers. Go ahead and like it so that we can continue to put out more information like this for you. Share it and then turn on your notification bell so then when we put out information, that way you will have it. So let's just go ahead and get into it, right? Because I want to know, what does your doctor's experience look like? Like, is it great? I go in, they do the things, and I am good, right? If that is your story, then that is awesome. That is great. Kudos to you. But unfortunately, that is not what I hear. A lot of people feel okay to come and tell me, the doctor, listen, what y'all doing? Because this ain't working, right? Like, I'm frustrated. And I understand as a patient, I get frustrated as well, right? So you go in with your questions and then you come out with more questions or you're all confused. This is frustrating. And it's not only frustrating for you, like when I'm a patient, it's frustrating for me, but I kind of try to figure out how to navigate that. But even as the doctor, it can be frustrating because sometimes we can see it, we know like what's about to happen, and we're like, we're either out of time or whatever, right? So it can be frustrating for everybody. So let's talk about some of the things that are happening. One of the first things that I noticed is that you have a lot of things that you want to discuss, and sometimes it's too many for a visit. The thing that you want to do, and I know the reason why this happens, like you may have scheduled a visit, and then by the time you get a chance to have that visit took forever and a day to get scheduled. So now some other things are happening. So you want to talk about that too. The visit is expensive. So I want to get the best and the most bang for my buck. I get it. I totally understand why it happens. But unfortunately, we can't cover like all the things in one visit. It gets overwhelming for everybody, for you and for your doctor, and you're not going to get the best answers that you need. So instead of having like five and six things, and literally I will have people that will come in and they have a whole list of, these are all the things that have been happening with me and I want you to fix them and fix them today. Well, realistically, especially if you are in the traditional healthcare system, you have 15 minutes to win it. And that's what I say all the time. The average doctor's visit is 15 minutes, right? That's not a lot of time. So you want to limit your concerns to two, maybe three things that you want to talk about. Because if you think about it, that's 5, 10, 15 minutes, you're out of time. So that's only 5 minutes per concern to ask you questions, to do an exam, to come up with a treatment plan, to discuss that treatment plan with you before you walk out the door. Because what's happening is a lot of people are leaving and then they say, well, they sent the medicine to the pharmacy. I don't know nothing about that medicine. I didn't even know they were sending a medicine. Sound familiar? I know it does because I have quite a few people who are telling me that. So you want to limit your concerns to two, maybe three things, because that is the most that they're able to handle. Plus, it's going to give you a more quality visit. The other thing is, you don't know the details of your concerns. And a lot of people say, yes, I do. I know what happened. But then I'll say, okay, well, when did it start? A minute ago. Like, it's been some time, a while ago. We need more specifics. Like, was it 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Because that tells me, is this acute or is it chronic? So we need to know, like, when did they start? And then how long are those symptoms lasting? Do they last a minute? Do they last 10 minutes? Are there any associating symptoms with it? I have this, but then this also happens at the same time. Are you taking any medicines for it? And not only are you taking medicines, what are the medicines? Like, you want to be specific with those medicines. We need to know, like, the dose of it. What exactly are you taking? So having the medication and bringing it to the visit, or taking a picture of it, because again, Mucinex has like 6 or 7 different types of Mucinex now. So we can't just say, oh, I took some Mucinex. Like, which one? Because they're all formulated different. They're going to hit your symptoms different. That tells me, what do I need to do? Do we still need to stay with Mucinex, but we need to do a different kind that has some extra stuff in it? Whatever. So you want to know the details of what you're doing, like of your concern. So again, when did it start? How long are those symptoms lasting? And what are you taking? Being specific. Sometimes what's happening, the other thing that's happening is you're leaving the most important thing for last. And people say, why would you do that? No, I don't. And I asked someone that, and I said, well, why did you wait? And someone said, well, I just had to see if I could trust you first. I was like, that's not how this works. Because again, we're going to run out of time. And if you leave your most important thing last, then that means you're not going to have a lot of time to really fully like address it and unfold it and unpack it and get what you need from it. So instead of waiting for that thing and say it last, you want to make sure that you put it first. So that way it gives us enough time to ask enough questions so we can get the best answer for you. The other thing that I'm seeing is the, oh, by the way. Oh, by the way, works well in like different conversation. Like, oh yeah, oh, by the way, this also happened. That's fine. In your doctor's visit, it is a no, no. Listen, one of the things that will frustrate your doctor the most is saying, oh, by the way, this happened, especially if it's at the end of the visit. Because a lot of times what happens is that is another concern, that is something that you want to discuss, but you may be out of time. So it's going to be frustrating for you, and it's going to be frustrating for your doctor, because your doctor says, well, they threw that out there. Now I have to address it and I have to talk about it. Some of your doctors will try to address it, but it's going to be really rushed. It's going to be really quick, and you're not going to feel satisfied with it. The other thing is you're just going to be like, some doctors, and I've seen this and I've heard people say this, they will just shut it down and say, we don't have time for this. You got to come back for another visit. And how does that make you feel? Right? It makes you feel dismissed. It makes you feel like they didn't listen to me. But the reason why is because there's only so much time. And so, in order to make sure that you get what you need, the, oh, by the way, whatever that is that she was thinking about, that, oh, by the way, again, you want to make sure that you put it first. So that way it doesn't get missed. The other thing is, when you have a few concerns, the things that I've noticed that people will do, you have a few concerns and then you just start talking about them. So let's say your doctor says, oh, well, what's been going on? You say, oh, I have a headache. And then you start talking a lot about the headache. And then later on, you say, and then I have knee pain. And then you start talking a lot about the knee pain. If you have a few concerns, even if it's those 2 or 3, what you want to do, instead of just starting talking about all of the things that's going on, yeah, I had a headache and it started on so and so and so and so, and then I had knee pain and then blah, 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 and you go into all of that. What you want to do is list your concerns first. I have a headache, I have knee pain, and then my stomach was hurting. Those 3 things. That's what I have going on. Then from there, you and your doctor can decide, okay, like the stomach pain, like, is that happening all the time? Oh, no, that just happened one time. It went away. I'm good. Well, maybe we don't have to address it. But if we do, we can figure out how to put it in there. But you get a chance to prioritize those things, and then you start talking about them. Because if you start talking about the stomach pain, but it wasn't really that big a deal, but that's the first thing you start talking about, and you spend a lot of time talking about it, then again, you run out of time. And then it's like, oh, but I really didn't get a chance to talk about my headache that's really been keeping me up at night. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and think about, what are those concerns that I have? List them and put them in order of priority for yourself. Tell your doctor, I'm having headache, knee pain, stomach pain. Then you guys together figure out, okay, which one is most important and how we're going to spend time on these things, so that we know how much we need to talk about it and that sort of thing. The other one that I'm finding out that's happening is you say, I'm fine. Your doctor says, oh, hey, how you doing, Miss So-and-so? How you doing, Mr. So-and-so? Oh, I'm fine. Are you really? You're probably not. And it's really a bad question for us to ask. If it's a follow up visit and you truly are fine that day, then it's okay. If it's an acute visit, I know that you're not fine, but the polite thing to do is to ask you. But a lot of times I say, well, you probably aren't fine because if you were fine, you probably wouldn't be here today, right? But if you're coming in and it's not an acute thing, you're following up on something like blood pressure, high, diabetes, all that kind of stuff, and someone says, I'm fine, or if your doctor says, how are you doing? You can say, I'm fine. But what happens sometimes is some doctors will take that information of, I'm fine, I'm good, everything is okay. They don't ask a whole lot of other questions, and then you're still with the same treatment plan. So then you find out almost towards the end of the visit, they haven't made any changes. Like, oh no, but I did have a concern about X, Y, and Z. Like this medicine is starting to make me feel loopy, or I was concerned that maybe it's going to cause this. So you still want to go ahead and address your concern. So you can say, I'm fine today, but I have a concern. So that way they will know because I've heard, especially a lot, and this is very important if you are a caregiver, or you have a family member that is getting older, they're going to the doctor, you probably want to go with them on those appointments because what I'm finding out, and I've heard from several people, is they say that they will go, that person will go to the doctor, and then they come back and they say, well, they didn't make any changes. Did y'all tell them what was going on? And they was like, oh no, we didn't say anything. Mama said she was fine. Daddy said he was fine. Well, then the doctor thinks that you're fine and they don't ask a lot of additional questions, unfortunately. And then you end up with the same plan. So if there is a concern, you can say, I'm fine, but I have these additional concerns. So that way they will know like what is going on with you. But these are the main things that I am seeing. The other thing that I want to say, because those are all of the main things that I've seen, and I know that if we can put these things in order, and you do some of these things, you'll see a big difference. Because one of the things you want to do, and I want to make this extra point, is about vague concerns. Like I've had some people that will reach out to me, and they're like, hey, I've been experiencing fatigue. Fatigue is a big thing, and a lot of things can cause fatigue. And they're like, so what should I do about it? I don't quite know what you should do about it because I have to ask you a lot of questions. It's kind of like when you're going on a highway, you're taking a trip and you're trying to get to your destination. Well, there's multiple ways that you can get there. You can either take the scenic route or you can take the more direct route. When it comes to your health, you probably want to get there as direct as possible. And the most direct way to do that is to have a nice plan and say, we're going to take exit 102 and blah, blah, blah. Well, in order for us to take exit 102, I have to ask you a lot of questions to be able to decipher, okay, oh, well, this is happening. So this is the next step. And then this is happening. So this is the next thing that we do. So the more information that you guys are able to give us, the better you are going to be able to, like, the more answers you're going to be able to get, the more you're going to be able to get out of your healthcare. And your answers are going to be like a lot better. I want for you to go ahead and try these with your doctor, like whoever your provider is. Try these tips. Let me know how did it go, because I actually talked to another doctor. She and I were just sitting down, and I said, "How do you approach a visit?" And she said, "Before we get into it, I asked them, what are your concerns?' And we're just going to list them out." And we go through those concerns, and then I say, well, which one is most important? We're probably going to take care of two of them today. Which ones are your most important? And then we'll come back for the other ones. So that way, you don't leave feeling like dismissed. You know, the most important thing that's keeping me up at night, this is what we're going to talk about. Because I thought, I was like, am I the only one who does this? No, a lot of people are trying to do this. So you can take initiative. If your doctor doesn't automatically come out and say, what are your top concerns today? You can go in and say, listen, knee pain, headache, stomach pain. This is what's going on. Let's figure out how we're going to address them. And then you guys determine what makes the most sense. Again, you may not be able to do all of them in that day, but if you can at least get your top two concerns done, I think that's a win, because then you have some peace of mind and you'll be able to move forward. So if you use these tips and techniques, let me know. Let me know how it turned out. If you're like, I did it and they still didn't do nothing, let me know, because then I'm like, okay, well, what else can we do to kind of shift this and make it make sense? Because I want you to get what you need. If you are still in need of a primary care doctor, especially in Georgia or South Carolina, because we are licensed for that. You are welcome to look us up. You are welcome to join us because this is what we do. We do it when 15 minutes just won't do. We provide 30 to 60 minutes unrushed visits so that way you can truly get what you need. But then we still help you to prioritize and say, okay, these things are what's important. This is what we're going to do. This is what this means. This is the treatment plan. These are the medications. These are your options. These are the side effects. I know a lot, right? But because when 15 minutes just won't do, we sit down, we talk about it, we're able to fully like dissect and figure out like what is going on so that way you can have peace of mind. Because getting the answers to your questions is peace of mind. That's what that is. Because honestly, you only have one body, and we want to serve this body well. And if this body is not doing what it needs to do, you do not have peace of mind. I promise you, you don't. Like if you have an ache or a pain somewhere, your mind is like, what is that? And what do I need to do? So you want to make sure that you are getting the answers to your questions and that you have peace of mind. So if you're still in need of a primary doctor, feel free to look us up. You can go to our website. You are able to look at all the information about us, but you can also sign up there, or you can also give us a call, and that information is on the screen, but it's also linked to our video. Until next time, I wish you healing and I wish you well. Take care.